All of his victims, men ages 21 to 54, ambushed in the late night, early morning.
In the fall of 2022, the city of Stockton in California was gripped by fear. A sinister serial killer lurked in the shadows. Police were baffled at the fact there could be a killer walking the streets of San Joaquin County.
As officers made contact with him, he was wearing dark clothing and had a mask around his neck.
They also found a gun.
Wesley Brownlee was born in San Francisco, California, but he grew up in Oakland, California. Not a lot was known regarding his childhood, but the mean streets of Oakland have a way of twisting your life in a direction you never thought it would be, whether that be good or bad. Brownlee had a brother, Dale, who jumped off the porch very early, or as some would say, got involved in the street life, then it was off to the races from there. Running with gangs, selling drugs on the streets of Oakland, California, can definitely put a target on your back. Brownlee, 15 at the time, following in his brother's footsteps, ended up getting arrested with two other boys in May of 1994 on suspicion of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl, according to court records. In an interview with the juvenile probation officer, Brownlee blamed the sexual assault on his two friends and claimed he did nothing at all. Fast forward to April 1995. Not much information was given, but Brownlee's close friend Kogo Upshaw was found stabbed to death around the 600 block of East Market Street. This event laid down heavily on Brownlee's shoulders, and it began a deep death spiral in which he may never recover.
They also say he's linked to a case in April where a woman was shot and survived her injuries. The surviving...
About 6 months later, it was a warm, muggy night when gunfire erupts. Seconds later, 17-year-old Dale Brownlee was shot multiple times over what police say was a drug-related shooting, but there were still lots of questions in the air surrounding that shooting. Brownlee was reported to be very distressed after the death of his brother. Running the streets from Oakland to Stockton, California, going headfirst in the drug game until the year 1997, where Brownlee was arrested for possessing more than 67 bundles of crack cocaine. After everything was said and done, Brownlee ended up serving no jail time and got 3 years probation. But he just couldn't keep his hands clean. In 1998, Brownlee's probation was revoked after he was arrested for selling cocaine to an undercover cop, then was sentenced to 2 years in San Quentin State Prison. In 2014, Brownlee was arrested again for selling narcotics, and he was sentenced to jail plus probation. In 2001, Alameda County, Brownlee was convicted of another drug charge and served another 3 years in prison this time.
Serial killer who went on a rampage that terrorized communities in Northern California.
Six people were killed. 5 in Stockton, California, 2 in Alameda County, and 1 in Oakland, California last year. Most of the deadly shootings happened in Stockton within a 4-mile radius of one another. Here's what we know. Brownlee's first victim was in Oakland, California, a 40-year-old individual by the name of Juan Miguel Vasquez Serrano. Serrano was a well-liked homeless man in the Seminary neighborhood of East Oakland. He was known for being a neighborhood mechanic for hire. Serrano was said to be sleeping at the time of death. Early morning, Marvin Herman, a 39-year-old black man, was shot to death around 1 a.m. in Alameda County. Alone in a dimly lit area of the city, he was fatally shot, seemingly near a homeless encampment. Victim number 3, April 16, 2021, that same day, early morning. At 3:20 a.m., Natasha Latour, a 46-year-old black woman, was approached by a tall figure in dark clothing at a homeless encampment near Park and Union Streets. Latour was in her tent, getting ready to go to sleep, when she saw a dark figure pointing a firearm in her direction, then quickly charged towards Brownlee in an attempt to defend herself, but was shot multiple times. However, she survived her injuries.
They believe this person, shown walking, is connected to 2 execution-style shootings.
Officers followed and pulled over Brownlee at 2 in the morning.
Police were baffled in the beginning. Victims so far have been alone and in barely lit areas when the 6-foot unknown race individual was to strike. The police also received info on a strange individual wearing a dark jacket with the hood pulled over his head, dark pants, and a black face mask out roaming the neighborhoods. Soon police found out
The surviving
he
victim
was hunting.
describing the shooter similarly to the person seen in this surveillance video released by police in dark clothing, a mask, and walking with a distinctive limp.
July 8th, 2022. Paul Yah, a 35-year-old man, was shot to death about 12:31 a.m. on the 5600 block of Kermit Lane in Stockton, California. It's somewhere near Holiday Park. Investigators were baffled in this murder. Salvador DeBudney Jr., a 43-year-old Hispanic man, was fatally shot at the 4900 block of West Lane near the bowling alley. The shooting happening around 9:50 a.m. on August 11th, 2022. August 30th, 2022. 21-year-old Jonathan Hernandez Rodriguez, a Hispanic man, was fatally shot along the 800 block of East Hammer Lane, probably around 6:41 a.m. Investigators are not sure how this individual.
They believe this person, shown walking, is connected to 2 execution-style shootings in Rogers Park. Now, CPD released this surveillance video from the fall of 2018. Now, you could take a look at the side-by-side video here. The one on the left is of a murder suspect in Stockton, California. The one on the right is a suspect in Rogers Park. Police in Stockton were said to be working with CPD because this person in both videos has a very similar walk or stride, but the Fox affiliate in Sacramento now says investigators do not believe the cases are connected.
52-year-old Juan Cruz, a Hispanic man, was shot to death at around 4:27 a.m. on September 21st, 2022. The murder happened at the 400 block of Manchester Avenue. Investigators think this victim was asleep at time of attack. On September 27th, 2022, Lawrence Lopez Sr., a 54-year-old Hispanic man, was fatally shot on the 900 block of Porter Avenue at about 1:53 a.m. He will be the killer's final victim.
The arrest happened in 2 parts. One was community tips, and the second was good old-fashioned police work.
Of a serial killer who went on a rampage that terrorized communities in Northern California. Stockton police announcing the arrest of 43-year-old Wesley Brownlee Saturday, while they say he was out hunting for his next victim.
We are sure we stopped another killing.
Police say Brownlee is connected to 6 murders in the Central Valley and in Oakland over the last few months. All of his victims, men ages 21 to 54, ambushed in the late night, early morning, including musician Lorenzo Lopez. They also say he's linked to a case in April where a woman was shot and survived her injuries. The surviving victim describing the shooter similarly to the person seen in this surveillance video released by police in dark clothing, a mask, and walking with a distinctive limp. According to the police chief, officers followed and pulled over Brownlee at 2 in the morning.
As officers made contact with him, he was wearing dark clothing and had a mask around his neck.
They also found a gun.
We watched his patterns and determined early this morning he was on a mission to kill.
This arrest ultimately leaving the community with a sense of relief.
There are a lot of people on death row who've committed very serious crimes, and everyone has been convicted of murder. But as far as who actually gets a death penalty, I think that seems arbitrary to me.